Hey everybody, welcome back to Majestic Collectibles. So I've got some comics here. This is all from the Fairmont buying show. A couple of stacks, as you can see. Nothing, nothing really killer in there. I'm just going to let you know up front in the video. There's nothing really to get too excited over. The stuff on the short box is the best stuff. You can see it just out of frame on the left. I'll get to that at the end. If you see anything you're interested in, let me know. I haven't gone through all these. I did go through a few, and there have been some completeness issues where centerfolds are missing or pages are missing. One of the collections has extra staples in the cover, whether it needed it or not, so kind of just low-grade reader stuff. I mixed them together because I'm pre-sorting these. Right now the plan is to put the two stacks you're seeing right now is put it on my next online auction coming up. I don't know if it's going to be in December, it's going to be 2026 yet. Depends how far I get on it. So we're just going to go through some stuff. I'm going to pick the middle stack and we'll go from there. Lots of Dell and Gold Key, which is, if you've been around comics, especially in the upper Midwest, yeah, you're not a bit surprised at that. And I'm going to be putting these in groups of anywhere between 5 and 10 comics on there. And that was one batch right there, and 2, 3, 4, yeah, there's 5 of them. Just kind of a miscellaneous pile. They're not going to be expensive. This is interesting. This came from, I know this one came from a collection in Jackson, Minnesota, because it was very odd. It was full of a bunch of Silver Age stuff, and then for whatever reason, there was some Bronze Age, late Bronze Age too, kind of mixed in. I guess I don't know the reason for it. I didn't ask. But it's just some low grade stuff, and this Spider-Man will be another. Oops, got a fuzzy stuck. Ugh. Fuzzy stuck to that too. I think it's a 10 book lot. I don't know. I haven't been counting these, but it's kind of odd that was. There's be a couple more. I think sections like that. Why those were in there, I don't know. They didn't fit any of the rest of the collection. And here we go back to some more rough. Oops, that's not even the right. Oh shoot, I didn't even realize that. So that's the cover, but that's the book. So that one won't be in there. I got to redo that lot because that's not even close. That's just an old beat up cover on the wrong interior. So I'll have to fix that. But as you can see, a lot of funny animal stuff. Not even a lot of good funny animal stuff, to be flat out honest with you. Just a lot of really bad, kind of smelly books. That one's really battered there too. It's still fun to go through and see them. Now this is separate, so this is from Fairmont. I mentioned, I think 2 videos ago, I believe, that I did pick up another collection locally of comics. Those are all newer, basically modern stuff there. I'll be going through that. Boy, it'll be after Thanksgiving. Guys, I gotta go. So I just got called yesterday, the day before I'm shooting this video. You're gonna see it on Sunday, so I'm already back, but I'm gonna go back up to Minnesota. I got a call on a 3,200 comic book collection up in Minnesota. So I'm gonna head up there tomorrow morning, early tomorrow morning, spend a day or two there, and then I'll hopefully shoot a video of that if I get a bot. That one's a little older. It's got some Silver Age, Bronze Age. I think it does have some modern stuff, but I'm not really, I don't need any more bulk modern stuff, so I don't anticipate buying that, but you never know. Western photo covers, gosh, I remember these were the bomb, man. These were bringing, 20, 30, 50 bucks a pop and more, depending on who it was. But the folks that remember them just aren't here anymore. And you don't really even see a lot of these replayed. Some you do. Swamp Fox is Disney, but I haven't seen that for ages. Old Archie's Cell, that one's really rough. All of these are pretty rough. But they're probably some of the best books. I don't know why. Archie's had a real renaissance for me the last couple years. Not big dollars, so don't get me wrong there. There's still probably $1, $2 books for the most part, retail-wise. But there's actually some interest in them, and that hasn't happened for a while, to be honest. This is the kind of thing they're after. It's got the psychedelic or the go-go fashions, whatever you want to call them. Seem to be the most popular. Some of the sports stuff, because it's kind of got that retro sports thing going. Some of these probably won't have a whole lot of interest at all. So I'm going to move this pile over. Try and get through it as fast as I can. I know it's not going to be a short video. But people seem to like it. I keep, every time I cut it short, oh, you got to show us all the covers and all the stuff. I'm like, okay, here you go. And all its glory, or lack thereof, whatever the case may be. Did get a few Whitman variants in this one collection, which is kind of interesting. So somebody must have bought the 3-packs or multi-packs, I'm guessing. Winter covers sell okay. Christmas covers are the best. The odd Thanksgiving cover, which are fairly scarce, are pretty good too. Halloween is really good. Any of those holiday themed. Millie, nice book. Dan DiCarlo cover. It's missing at least 2 pages. So I already did a page count just to check. Interestingly enough, the paper dolls are there, but I don't know, it must be a tech centerfold maybe. Not sure. Hockey cover there. And just all over the board with stuff. Not a lot of Marvel. I mean, very, very little Marvel in either collection of any type. That's Fox and Crow actually is a fairly good seller. That one's a little rough, but that and Sugar and Spike, there are quite a few collectors of those both those titles on that. Lois and Jimmy, not so much. You get some Catwoman covers on Lois, some Neil Adams covers on there. A little bit of innuendo stuff in the Bronze Age on the covers, and that's about it. And otherwise, there's not really people kicking down my door. I usually don't throw coverless in, but this is Batman Annual 2 from 1961, and other than the cover gone, it's actually really nice. Pages are there, white pages, off-white. So somebody might want a good reader copy for very little money, I would guess. Jerry Lewis used to be really popular. That's another one like the Westerns. Nobody really remembers it anymore. Superboy, it's pretty much got to have the Legion of Superheroes or a Neil Adams cover art or something in it. Otherwise, I don't get a lot of requests for it, which is a bit of an understatement. That's why they're going on auction, because around here I just don't think they would do very well. So here's some interesting ones coming up. I think I'll probably have 2 batches of these because there's quite a few. The Hot Rod comics kind of come and go. The earlier Golden Age size, the little larger ones, cool covers on them, do quite well. These have been kind of up and down, but I've just put some odd lots together in the past, and people seem to be interested in them. I guess I'm going to find out. I don't know. I don't know if I've put these on online auction. If I did, there's probably only like 1 or 2, so I don't think I had a whole lot or 2 of them, but I'm going to now. That one's actually got a Mercedes and a Corvette, maybe a Jag back there. I can't, not really sure. They usually didn't mock them up too close to the original cars. Didn't want to get in trouble, but nice little batch of the Hot Rod stuff. And here's just some more cartoon books. Don't have a lot of interest. I like the Casper stuff, Hot Stuff, Nightmare, Tuffy. I never got into the Little Audrey stuff or Little Lotta or anything like that. Richie Rich, but again, even for these Silver Age era books, well, if you can get $1 or $2 out of them, that's about it. I just don't have a lot of interest, collector interest around here at all for this stuff. These are a little harder to find, incomplete. I think it's missing 4 pages. It felt really thin, so I check them out if they feel really thin, and that one That one was really thin. Sergeant Rock, real shame. It's a darn good book. And this would have been above average condition except for the, yeah, and it's on the inside too. So see if I can find, I don't know if I can, it wasn't every page obviously, but there were some pages there where they scribbled the black marker inside. But other than that, gosh, there was some scribble there in the black marker, but good heavens, that was a tragedy there. That was a pretty good book. Marvel Western stuff, well, any Western stuff, even the non-TV, I guess, I have little interest in. The war stuff does sell. Nothing spectacular, to be honest with you, but it does have an audience. And I think they have an audience because they're economical. If these ever shot up in price, like $5 a book or something, I honestly don't know if anybody would really buy them. I think you'd be stuck with them for a very long time on that. And these are always, that's a pretty good cover. It's got the flag in the background and kind of the close-up of the, I'm going to go with Army Squad on that one. So any of the flag patriotic stuff is usually pretty good. We'll find out. That should find hopefully a nice home. Here's another one with the symbol on the sub. Those sell. Not sure for necessarily the best of reasons, but they do sell. Sergeant Rock is always good, and GI Combat's always good. That was a really low grade book, water damaged on that one. Oop. We're getting to the bottom of this stack anyway, so that'll help. Here's a little bit. So here's a Sergeant Fury. There's a few more, I don't know, probably coming up in this stack. I have very little luck with them. They did a lot of reprints. So they reprinted a lot of stories. Didn't necessarily have a lot of original stuff. They did have some killer covers, especially early on, and they had a Captain America cover. That's a good cover. It's got the P-38 in there and the Saber jet. So, you know, there is a couple of odd covers that are good for Sergeant Fury. Even though number one, though, isn't necessarily high dollar. Here's a number 6. Really great art on it. Actually, the earlier ones, I think they definitely put a lot more effort into them. And there's another one, number 10. But even then, there's just limited interest in them. The Air Force books, there's not as many Air Force titles as Army, Navy, Marines. So the Air Force stuff does tend to maybe have a little more interest in it. And so this stack is just going to finish up right here. So I'm going to move this. Give me just a second here, and then we'll get to the other stack, which actually is a little shorter, so a little more merciful for anybody that's still watching, I guess. I'm still amazed that people want to see every single one, especially on this old common stuff. But I'm glad you like it. I appreciate you guys watching and checking it out. So whatever works for you works for me. Tubby used to have some interest. Ponytail, which is the Dell version, I guess kind of Archie is a teen book. Monster covers always sell. That one's a little bit rough, but Frankenstein one will have some collector interest, but I'm just putting them all together. They're just going to go in a lot on the online auction. Here's a really neat book. I love these Atomic Age covers, style, and everything. This is action number 219. And let me see the date on it. 1956, missing 4 pages. So, bummer. That one's complete. It's just really common. I've had several of those. Archie's one way. It's a Spire. Some have interest, some don't. I don't think that's one that has a lot of interest. Just some good reader copies there. Patsy and Hetty, missing the centerfold. Great beach cover though, but that's why it's in here. Cosmo actually sells, but yeah, not when the cover's split down the spine in that rough a shape. Got some more war stuff here. Great covers on Rawhide Kid, Two Gun Kid, but very little interest. I just don't get a lot of interest in that stuff. Dennis the Menace, I don't know. Nothing around here, but I have had people, you know, online and some shows out of the area show minor interest in it, but they got to be cheap. This is neat because it's got the local advertising. That's Braun's Shoe Store in Fairmont, Minnesota. It's not a recovered one. It's actual Paul Parrott in there. So sometimes they just slapped a cover on there. And I've got, I guess I got two of those. And then there's a little better copy there. Same shoe store in Fairmont. Beetle Bailey, Sad Sack. Oof, tough books. Gabby Gob is actually fairly rare. I don't see it a lot. That's the the Navy version of Sad Sack, but it doesn't seem to matter. I just do not have a ton of interest. I'm going to put these on the auction low, like put 10 of them in there for $3 starting bid. I guess it wouldn't even surprise me if they didn't sell for that. Unfortunately. Good fun comics, just nothing anybody's interested in. There's a beat up spooky, giant size Spooky Town. And I don't know why he's in there because that should have been the Sad Sack and the Sarge stack. So I must have got something mixed up, but not an end of the world. Beetle Bailey, which is King Comics versus Harvey. That's a little more received on the Beetle Bailey because he was in the comic strips, the newspapers, dailies and Sundays. But again, I don't really have anybody kicking down the door for him. So he's probably a little more widely known than Sad Sack, but it doesn't really matter on that. And as you can see, I got, oh my goodness, I didn't realize I had that many of them, to be honest with you. That's a lot of Sad Sacks. I think I'm coming to the end. I don't know. Good grief, they just keep coming, don't they? And they were popular, so it is not unusual for me to find like a collection where there's a lot of Archies, a lot of Sad Sacks, a lot of duck books, the Disney stuff, duck and mouse books. So not at all unusual. That one's in pretty nice shape. But that was a lot. Pink Panther, not too much there. Lulu still has a following, but she's too far water damaged. Same with Mighty Mouse. He does have a following. They do kind of sell individually, but that one's a little low grade. Barney Google, he actually came out of newspaper strips too, but not too many people remember that. Classics Illustrated, depends who's on them. Abe Lincoln, it's probably a $3 to $5 book most any day of the week. This is actually the Headless Horseman Casper, little better cover. GI Combat, really nice one on there actually, 122. So that one's got some potential to sell separately. Wild Wild West, no. I do like that show though. I gotta admit that was a lot of fun. Whirlybirds used to be, well, it probably still is, kind of a harder book to find. Rifleman, I always liked that one. This is my favorite Western theme was Maverick. I never watched Roy a whole lot, and nobody is now either, unfortunately. Magnus Robot Fighter, I've talked about this. Those Dell and Gold Key painted covers. Tell you what, there's some collectors out for them. People are finally realizing what they've been missing, I think, on those, and it's hard to find a high grade because they were in the junk boxes for decades. Yep, Scrooge always sells a little bit, always a fan, not too much for Woody. Gold Key Bonanza, good photo cover on there. There's another teen book, kind of like the Ponytail from Dell. I don't know if that was a Zane Grey or I don't know. Sometimes they would do an adaptation, but I don't see many Idahos. So somebody would know. Tell me in the comments on the Idaho what was going on there, because I'm not looking it up. Clyde Crash Cup, actually he's another one that had kind of a hard book to find. But again, nobody really collects them. So there's a nice Christmas cover, Frosty the Snowman. A little rough though to get much out of individually. Lone Ranger, I did watch that. Cheyenne, not so much. Ricky, I know he was popular, but that was kind of before my time and stuff, so I didn't really grow up with him. Lone Ranger was on reruns on Saturday morning, actually. I got to see him. And my dad watched Maverick, so I didn't have much choice when Maverick and Bonanza came on. Little Lulu. Tom Sawyer, that stuff usually does sell. Again, it's similar to Classics Illustrated. Good space cover. If that was a high-grade book, that would be a separate sale. Same with Rocky and his friends. I think that's, I'll have to check. Yeah, you can see it. It's got extra staples, but I think it's also missing a page, if I remember right. Tom and Jerry, yeah, they got to be nice, and then they'll sell individually. But mid to high grade, more Rifleman. Chuck Connors, Lassie and Timmy playing baseball, I guess. Wonder if he was hitting in the middle of the lineup. Maybe he was a cleanup batter. Lead off. He could steal. That would be my guess on Lassie. Sea Hunt. Another John Paul Jones, another movie. I think that was Disney, isn't it? Nope, Warner Brothers. Had to look there. I don't think I've ever seen an episode of Sugarfoot. Saw a couple of Wagon Trains. I don't know, wasn't for me. That one's actually pretty nice. It is an original adaptation, 61, yep, on that. So that's one that could probably sell individually, but I got a lot of them. They're not hard to find. NASA, not too much there. This has a great cover. It's in terrible shape. But it's a neat book if you can get one in high grade. It's not kind of my type of read, but I do appreciate the quality of art if you see a high grade one. Burke's Law, never saw. Never watched an episode of that one. Never even watched much Quick Draw, to be honest with you. I was always a Bugs Bunny and kind of the WB guy. Of course, that's what they had on TV, 75% of the time. Huckleberry Hound still has some fans out there, as does Yogi Bear, which I didn't get any of those. Tom and Jerry, these, I don't know, these used to be good. These are pretty rough though, so I'm just going to throw them on the auction and see what happens. But the Elvin stuff, now if you get the Elvin Christmas cover because of the song, then you got something. So here's what you guys are kind of, well, I hope you were waiting for. Don't get too excited, I'm just telling you. These are the ones that were worth bag and boarding. I still need to make sure they're complete. But they were in a little nicer shape and obviously better titles. And these will eventually be priced, well, I don't know, I might throw some on the auction. I haven't decided yet. I just want to go through and see what the condition is on a lot of these. This one I think is one I needed for me, not a high dollar book, just kind of my sci-fi horror thing kind of deal there. It's hard to get good, well, VG or better, World's Finest, and that's a black cover, so that's actually one of the nicer copies I've had of that one. That's, I think that's the third Silver Age Catwoman, I believe, Batman 197, so it does have a, I don't know if you want to call it a semi-key or whatever on that. This has always been, it's not a hard book to find, but it is a hard book to get nice, and this is a pretty nice copy compared to most of them, Batman 190. Clint Eastwood, so, he's not what he used to be. That wasn't a dig at Clint, it's just his fans are kind of not here anymore. Johnny Quest, #1. Does have a big tear in the top edge, though, unfortunately. Got some giant-sized Superman. Superman are not, I don't know, I don't have a big demand for them locally. So again, this will be online, either auction or eBay even. I don't know, I'll have to again make sure condition-wise how complete they are. This is a really neat book. I didn't buy it new. I was a little too young for that when it came out, but I picked it up later at a flea market. I always really enjoyed that with the reprint stories. Another common cover. Here's a pretty good cover though. It's got Green Arrow on the cover. Superboy mixed Green Arrow. Is that Adventure 258? It's a 10-center. So we're kind of towards the end of that 10-cent. I don't know if you guys were following the online auction or even my eBay store. This is like my third or fourth of that issue. It is supposed to be a semi-key with the origin. Kind of goes through his origin story and stuff, family history, if you will. But I never really seem to get a premium out of it. X-Men 123, it is not that great a shape, maybe a VG, but it is in that right era. I don't know why this was stuck in there. That was a G.I. Joe, the only one I got. Didn't come with the G.I. Joe stuff either, it came with the comic stuff, so it just randomly stuck in there. Here's the best one. I'm keeping this because I do need number 18. It is a low grade. It's only about a 2.5 or a 3. It's got a deep sub crease. It is all there though. I did count that out. I believe it's third Sandman. Here's another killer cover, but oh my gosh, is this book completely trashed, stained, rusted. I don't know. It's a shame because that's not an easy book to get. Anyway, Patsy and Hetty, again, I gotta check and see if it's complete. That's why it's not in a sleeve. Here's some more giant size Superman. So remember, that's annual 1, so that does have a little bit of stuff going for it. But both of the collections had giant size Superman in them, not a ton. Here's one of probably the best Dell book, because that's got John Wayne on it. Not one of his, I guess, most beloved movies, North to Alaska, but it's still got a great John Wayne cover there. So I gotta get that one bagged and boarded. That one too. Here's a Yogi birthday party. It's a 4-color 1271. A little rough though. Smokey Bear always sells, and I'm guessing that's probably could be a first print, as old as that is. Underdog, always popular. The mild-mannered shoe shine boy. It is a little rough, but it is also a Whitman variant. So here we just kind of have, you know, that ubiquitous 70s Superman where nothing really happened. Always a good book. 38's got the JSA. They did that over the summer, usually a 2-parter. So I have one of them, of course. Adventure Comics is a Legion story. And here's another one. Good cover on that. That's not an issue. That's 328. That's one that, whatever reason, does not pop up. This one pops up. 339 pops up a lot, but the is it 28? Yeah, 328 I don't see. Here's some really killer, if you're into war books, these war stories from Dell, absolutely mind-blowingly great covers on them. Just fantastic. There was maybe, I don't know, 10, 12 of the war stories. I can't remember, 15, I'm not sure. Most all of them had just a killer cover of some sort on there. GI Combat, always popular. Really clean Mighty Mouse. So that was a lot better than that other one you saw in the other stack. Here's an oddball Christmas one. It's not super valuable because it doesn't, you know, it's not Rudolph or Santa, but it is a Christmas cover, Christmas story. Here's an early Beep Beep. I don't know if it's number 1 or not. I can't remember. I didn't look it up. I don't think so. But Beep Beeps, they gotta be clean, but they do sell. That's a very common one. Three Stooges, I still have a few people looking for them, not a ton, but if they're clean, I can usually find a home for them. Here's the Sugar and Spike, 42. It's rough, but as long as they're complete, they do sell. It's just a title boy, it's just tough to complete. They did have a lot of really cool monster covers like that, and those always go quick. Really good Sergeant Rock Army 145 on that one. Joe Kubert cover. Here's the one with the, well, I guess it'd be his arch nemesis, the German sergeant on there. This one's a little rough, got a massive spine roll, unfortunately, but other than that, it's tolerable. Whoops, well, that one got away. Let me go pick him up here just a second. Try that again. There we go. That looks a lot better when it's not sliding out of my hands. These are fairly common eras, but they're really clean books. This is another killer cover. I love that cover. It's Marines. It's the Tarawa invasion, which is pretty bloody for both sides. Turok, always good when they're clean. Here's an earlier Casper. I might need that one, actually. That one's probably nicer than mine. These always sell. So I talked about Halloween covers and the Lulu with the witch pumpkin patch and all that. Here's an Air War Stories. They did not make a lot of the Air War Stories, but my gosh, the covers again, fantastic. These I have to look through. I haven't got through them for completeness. They're really rough though, and I suspect that there's going to be some, oh, see, look at that, missing pages. What number? See, that's 13, but it's beat up. You know, that's a lot of that stuff. This used to be, you know, saleable, but not in that shape individually, I mean. And Looney Tunes, again, that has to be sports, like the football or whatever, or a Halloween or holiday cover. Lois, again, I covered that, so no use rehashing that. That's actually a pretty good cover there with the flag and the protest going on. Let me see. Whoops. Giant size, but again, nothing to write home about. I think that most of these are just me kind of run-of-the-mill superhero oddball stuff, really, in a lot of cases. This is always a good cover and a good seller, but it's really rough. So I've got to figure out how I want to do that. That one's another book, the 321. I don't see that cover a lot, and it's not great shape, but that always seems to be one that just does not turn up for me around here. Really rough, covers detached and pretty much split in half, not quite, but close. But I do believe that these two were complete. I think I did look through those. Here's another one that more of a Christmas, kind of a creepy Christmas cover, to be honest with you, but it's got a net on it, so you know, there's still a few fans. Snow White, kind of same as the 101 Dalmatians. That's not, so there's a much older copy version of Snow White than that, so that one's pretty common. Unfortunately, these are really, really rough. I don't see these titles, especially this old, and that's a very classic cover, that Brave and the Bold Justice League 30s. So that's an early Justice League, before they were Justice League. Let me get the year on that. 1960. So even though it's rough, it's pretty much a key, semi-key kind of book right there. Oops, let me get, I gotta be careful, these might not, okay, so this is Justice League 6, the regular, not the Brave and the Bold, the regular one, but the covers, as you can see, pretty rough. I think what I'm gonna do is just lot those two. I just have two, I think, yeah, two together. Avengers 42, not rare, pretty low grade, covers falling off. It does have a very nice classic cover, you know, Marvel look to it. Really beat up World's Finest. And I'm having trouble getting these apart because the covers are like literally falling off. Metal Man, this is a killer. I don't get many early Metal Man, and this is just one of my all-time favorite covers, when the former Revolver. It's number 7. Unfortunately, it is pretty low grade, 1964. Cover is more or less attached, but it's pretty limp book. It's pretty soft. Really common cover on that, but good reader stuff. Kind of this thing, I think the same for the rest of these here. Got a bunch of writing on the word balloons. So, you know, it's one of those deals that it's again, nothing to really do a backflip over. Anything that was kind of halfway good was rough. That Spidey 18 would be the one decent book. I figure it's worth maybe 150. I'm keeping it, but I mean that was it. The rest of these, you know, a lot of $5 and under books on it. So that's it. That's all the comics. I've got the 2 batches from Fairmont. I've got some other stuff to go through. Might be a little bit of a delay, a day or two, before I can get to any more videos or any more stuff. I'm kind of running out of room is what's going on with this. It's getting cluttered. But I'll get those out as soon as I can. So check those out, guys, and thanks so much for watching.